I'm a little out of breath for that last minute run to go get this lights turned on. But thank you guys for joining us for The Boy from Below. My name is Amy Robson. I'm with Indie Horror Junkie. I am also one of the film directors here at Syracuse, and I play Marilyn Lee Miller in the film. But let's get to the good stuff, because I got some. Yes, we do have Liz Rose coming. She's going to be here in about 10 minutes. We're a little bit early, but we're going to kick it off. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys introduce yourselves, and then we're going to get into some questions and answer some questions from the audience as well.
How are you? My name is Daniel Downhurdy. I'm an actor and producer.
Hello, my name is Ruben Sato. I'm an actor and producer.
Jeff Dakota, actor and producer.
And you guys go ahead and tell us who you play in the film.
Oh, so I played Rondo, the ice cream killer, in Boy from Below. That was me.
I played Harper, Felissa's son.
I played Officer Goodman.
All right, you guys. So what did you guys think of the film? You guys into horror slashers, mass killers? All right, you're in the right room then. We're just gonna go ahead and dive in. We've got time for some quick questions, and we want to hear what you guys have to say about your involvement. Daniel, I'm gonna start with you. The Boy from Below is described as a reimagining of The Wicked One. In your opinion, how does it expand or reshape that original story from Tori Jones?
Good question. When Tori first approached me with the project, I knew that he really loved The Wicked One and wanted to expand on that. I think that his goal with this film was to amplify that mythology, to kind of grow it and to kind of promote it in a deeper light than the first film. You know, he wanted to really create a bigger universe around it, and I think that he definitely did that, especially with bringing your character in the film, and as well as the elements of kind of bringing back that 1990s horror feel. So,
Yeah.
I think he pulled it off very well, and it was wonderful to see.
I personally think this was a great slasher and a film. It brought back the 70s and 80s vibe. When I saw Wicked Ones, I saw that it was a successful franchise. You know, the character, the story, the cast, everybody was just on point and you know, working together and bringing this alive. But with The Boy from Below, it touched more on the story of the boy itself, and you know, we seen the background of it. We see how he grew up and his uprising and what turned him into that monster. And as you can see from now, we already aiming for something else. So as you can see, you know, the two girls survived at the end. You don't know what happened with this officer yet. Anything can happen from here on out. So I think what they did is to make this be the focal point of the movie, and to say that The Boy from Below is here to stay.
Does it?
Just turn the right top.
So when Tori approached me with this project, I went ahead and I binge watched all the Jonestown's films. I watched Wicked One and honestly, I got hooked instantly. I was really intrigued to see how this reimagining was going to go about, and obviously, what I read, I decided to just read the stuff that I had personally from my character and hone in on that. And I was really, I went in as a fan because I'm a big indie horror fan, big slasher fan. So I went in blind here today to watch this. And the only stuff that I knew was the stuff that Amy and I did together. And I gotta say, I mean, blown away, 10 out of 10. I thought Tori did an amazing job with this project, and hats off to the cast and crew. Again, I'm just really thankful to be a part of this.
We had a really good time with our scenes, and talking about Tori, he has such a passion for horror. So I love that you deep dove into some of his films before working with him. How did you find his directing style? How did you find your character? Because he was pretty collaborative on set. He really gave some leeway for us to kind of bring those characters to life in our own way. How was that experience for you with working with Tori?
Yeah, so, you know, Tori, you know, I wanted to follow the script. Obviously, I didn't want to try to change too much stuff of how he wanted me to be, but I was able to just kind of take Rondo and kind of make it my own in a way too. I know from what you guys saw there, it seemed like from what Amy and I shot, from what I can recall, we spent like an entire day in that ice cream shop. And we were in an ice cream shop, a little like candy shop, ice cream, and a toy shop. Yeah, and but it was a lot of fun. And it just like, I think Tori wanted me at one point. I remember he wanted me to talk with like a lisp, and I was trying to get that down, but I'll admit, like, I did ask him. I said, "Can we just change the voice up a little bit to make it more sinister?" And he agreed with that, and we just rolled with that. I'm not sure how much of the dialogue you heard from Rondo, but again, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun that day. And
we shot these films within the film, so what you guys saw when they were watching us on TV, we actually shot full-out short films, which I believe is going to be included in a different project that we haven't quite announced yet, where you're going to be able to see those full-on length short films that we did do, and that's going to be a lot of fun to show everybody as well. Ruben, with this movie blending nostalgia and modern slasher energy, how did you personally connect with that mix as a lover of horror?
So, you know, growing up seeing Freddy versus Jason, Friday the 13th, seeing all the old school slashers and horror movies being brought back to life, and using modern technology, modern setting, and modern sounds, it just mixes both of them together to bring this masterpiece that we all missed. You know, it's hard to see movies like that are horror that's being compared to Jason or any that has a franchise hit. But when we worked on The Boy from Below, we wanted to make it special. We wanted to all put our energy and our focus on these characters, partake into it. You know, just to revise the last question, Tori did a great job of directing. With me, I came in a little later. I was cast at the end. He told me that I was going to take a role, but he wasn't sure where I was going to fit in. And when he found a spot, I flew in, and I was like, hey, you know, sign me up. As in directing, he allowed me to just take the role. He allowed me to take the lead, even though he did give some tips and advice. So I would like to say throughout this whole film experience, it was great because you do see a bunch of older, dynamic history, horror history. Like, let's say the film, the video shot, the movie shots, the VHS, the settings, the color grading, all that is old school. But you still see, you know, the little sounds, the new transitions. I don't know if you've seen the hallway. That was dope. And I want to say, Tori, you're great at that, man. And whoever that editor is, shout out to you.
Yeah, there's some great editing in this film for sure. Daniel, how do you think fans of classic horror slashers and mass killers will react to The Boy from Below?
I think that they're going to react very, very positively. I think it really was unique. It's as far as mass killer goes in the slasher franchise. You always like to see the good camaraderie between the cast and the way that they speak to each other, and I think we really got that there in conjunction with the fact that the boy looks so different than many other characters that are now. I think he's going to fit in very well with the genre.
They did a great job on that mask. And even when he was, the young boy, I love what they did. I actually remember being on set shooting with Jace during those scenes where you see him with his face painted, and they started off with a mask. It was like a store-bought, maybe not store-bought, but some type of Halloween shopped mask. And Tori was like, I can't do it. I can't put, someone else's mask on this character, because when he grows up and he turns into this, icon that he's created with this story with the boy, he wanted it to be more authentic. So literally on the spot, they painted Jace's face, and I love when they did that, because when he walked in the room and I saw him, I was like, this is what needed to happen. This is what's going to ground this character and make it, not come off cheesy and generic and cookie cutter. It just made it so much more original. So I love that they made that choice right then and there. You gotta pivot sometimes on set. They did a really good job.
Absolutely, and that part when he jumps down from the stage, and Spencer and Leon are right there. I was was in the room when that scene was shot. And let me tell you, that whole building shook.
Yeah.
I looked up, I was like, trying to be quiet on set, but that was loud. So, I mean, he's a big guy, big character, big presence, and with that mask, it definitely brings something new to the genre.
Yes, and Jace, who played the young boy, who played my son at the younger age, shout out to him.
Yeah.
He's an incredible actor, you guys. This kid, I'm telling you, keep your eyes out for him. I think he's just graduated high school. He's going to be graduating, but he is a young talent. We had a very emotional scene on set, and I was really just taken back by the grounding of his performances. So he did an incredible job in this. Keep an eye on Jace Carson, I'm telling you. We got a few more minutes, so let's just kind of, fire some questions, and if you or all of you can answer these. I do want to get into this. What do you think The Boy from Below says about obsession, both with horror and with the past? Because we really touch on that with this character.
So I do like the idea of how it's basically, at the beginning of the film just sets the tone where he had a very deep obsession with his mother, and he took that to the extreme level, and it's I do like the way that it's I'm trying to get the words out, but he had a great just the elevation of where it starts, where his aunt, his uncle, his cousins, and then it just elevates from there. Right. What I personally was about to say is, I like the fact that we actually saw, is it Jack? This isn't the actor. I like the fact that we saw him without the mask on. We got to see his features, his face,
Yeah.
and just in a way, at some point towards the end, you see a little bit of, I don't want to say that you feel for him, but
you do.
he has a mother's love at the end of the day. And
Humanity to him.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for me, I like it how not only did it touch on Jason's past, he has extremely love for his mother, not in an excessive way, but he's very intrigued of this horror, movie. I'm pretty sure if you give him the chance to, if Marilyn Manson would have kept making movies, he would have never turned out to be a killer. But there was something that struck him in his mind because he found it, very exciting. He was addicted to these movies, these different films, and to me, I personally think it's just a piece of love or something that's missing. Because Jace, no matter what, he always loved his mother. And you can see when he took the body out, he kept protecting it, he was praying, he loved his mother. So the love of the mother is there. But it affected everything else around him and his family and everything else. So I think he hit a right point on bringing the past into this future.
We're on the road to the next moment. Yeah, we've got time for a couple of more. Let's talk about the acting, guys. This is a group right here that is very involved in the indie horror scene. If you guys follow indie horror and you're seeing what's going on, you're going to see these faces, not just in The Boy from Below, but a lot of movies over the past couple of years, and we've got some upcoming films that are going to be, you're going to see these guys on as well. How did you approach your role in balancing grounded character work with the heightened energy of this being a slasher film?
Yeah, so like you said, it's been an honor to be able to work in independent horror as much as we have in the past couple of years. Tons of wonderful things coming out. But to get grounded in this role, for me personally, Tori, going back to what we spoke about his directorial style, he let Cheney, and Cheney is one of my closest friends, just kind of get grounded in other characters, feel like more like brothers. So we just hit it off. That's how we got grounded in the character. We went over it a little bit. We had lost one of the cast members, unfortunately, couldn't attend, so some of the scene was improvised and it didn't make the end of the film, but there was some funny stuff in there. So I think it shows the relationship Cheney and I have in there. So we just got grounded and ready to bring it. And I think Jamie brought it big time. I love that end scene. I hadn't seen that, and
Yes.
that was wonderful.
I will say Tori creates a really great environment on set for us to come on and be creative in our ways, and I really love and respect her for that.
I love it, yeah.
For me, it was Felissa Rose. She was my co-star, and Tori made it easy for me to read the script and take on this character. In fact, when I took over this role, it was a whole completely different script. I'm talking about, I was on set, I'm looking at the script, I'm like, are you my wife? No, she's not my wife, I'm her son now. So the whole entire time I'm improvising, I'm back, bouncing back and forth with Felissa. But she made it easy for me because her energy, she's very outgoing, she's so happy and positive that it opened me up to be like, okay, you know what? I don't have to worry, we got this. We're gonna bounce off each other. And I just want to give you a shout out for that, Felissa.
All right, so I'm not gonna lie. Tori sent me my costume and to my house, and understand, I have at the time, tried like a year and a half ago. So my daughter, she's 9, and she has an ice cream kind of stand in her bedroom already, and. So I put the costume on, the outfit, bow tie, the hat, and everything around my house. Obviously, she thinks I'm a goofball. And I just lay my script out, and I grab her fake wooden scooper, and I'm just acting the whole stuff out in front of her, because that's how I felt like I wanted to get dialed in to that character. I didn't want to just sit in my plain clothes on a couch and just read it. I wanted to spread the sheets out and just get really silly and
Catch all the feels.
yeah, I want to get really dialed into it. So I feel like, and I know you were saying that they'll be showing more of our segment in the near future. But yeah, it was a fun character to play. I got to scoop somebody's eyeball out first for
I got
me,
to eat
so
it.
I got a little messy. And sorry for that, but.
At least you guys didn't have
All in good fun and for the love of the
Yeah.
Lord. Absolutely. Speaking of indie films and indie horror, The Boy from Below, how do you guys feel about indie horror and where it's going compared to major studio films? I personally feel like there's a lot of momentum behind indie horror. The next screening that we're going to see tonight in Hell House LLC, Glenn and you guys are going to be around for that. Please stick around. They're independent, non-studio back. It's their 5th and final installment, and they're the perfect example of this question because they are indie filmmakers who started 10 years ago, pumped out 5 movies, and they just got a theatrical release on their final installment. So how do you guys feel about the energy that's surrounding indie horror right now, and the excitement of it, and the advantage of it working on these sets versus major studio films?
I would love to answer that question. So I'm telling you right now, independent horror, you build a pipeline, of films that are, from pre-production, and then, what's coming out, and once you build that pipeline, it builds. It's all going to be coming out soon, and I think a lot of it was triggered from COVID. People don't realize that the boom happened just like this back in the 80s, just like they have with the video stores. So the independent genre, it's going to be on fire because there's so many different horror films that are going to be coming out. I think it's going to be a boom, just like we saw with the whole video store. Because people forget, back in the 80s, 90s, when there was video rental stores, a lot of those films that came out, although they were maybe minor studio now, they were still regional creations, like Florida, New Jersey, California, and the same thing's happening now. And you can make amazing films and do amazing things with just,